Hi, welcome to Gabbing with Girlfriends. And today, my girlfriend's Jen Farhood, and she's a celebrity makeup artist, a rock star publicist, and most importantly, a friend of mine. Hi, Jen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Okay,
Glad
you
to
do
be
not look like you've just done a school run somehow with your cold shoulder
you
outfit
always
on,
are you
that
kidding?
lovely makeup. Did you go to school like that?
Thank you. Every day, driving the kids to school.
Do you know
Gotta be glam mom.
I used to take my kids to school in my pajamas and they freaked.
Yeah,
They used to just freak.
we have to do what we gotta do to survive, so running the kids to school, whether it's in pajamas or, on our way to a concert,
Smoky
it's
eye. Um,
whatever's comfortable.
yeah, you have to be the most glam mom going. I was definitely the scruffiest mom going.
Oh,
I think my
no.
kids would rather you take them. So, how are you? Good?
Everything's good, yeah, just busy. It's
Well,
been
busy's really
crazy.
good.
It's
Yeah.
good, can't complain.
And you're off to LA soon for the Oscars.
Yes.
That's
So
fun.
excited. I think it's gonna be my 10th year.
No
Yeah.
way.
So that's super exciting. And yeah, it's just so busy. It's a lot, but every day just get up and do it. And I love what I do. So can't complain.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's pretty amazing that you keep yourself, that you are that busy and a mom
Mhm.
of two gorgeous kids.
Thank you.
You did well, one boy, one girl.
Yes.
And your hardest job's probably being a wife, but that's a whole nother podcast.
Right.
Uh, so tell me how you got into makeup. That always
So
fascinates me.
well, with makeup, I was actually an artist, and when I was a teenager, I was an artist, and I was drawing cartoons. And everyone says you should go work for Disney. You're really good at this. And storefronts would hire me to come and paint their windows and different art on their windows to promote whatever product they were promoting. And I just kind of stumbled into it. I started doing makeup when I was like in my senior year of high school, if not one year before that. And I worked at a makeup store, a store that specialized in makeup. It was a brand in Canada where I'm from. And they trained me in skincare and makeup. And then when I got to college, I was taking TV broadcasting. And one of my students in the class with me was the makeup artist for the news channel. So she started hiring me to assist her, and she kind of took me under her wing and taught me a lot about the business and how to work on sets. And then eventually she couldn't do the job, so she hired me. I ended up building a portfolio. I got a job with a modeling agency, and I wrote the course in modeling development and skincare and makeup and grooming for men as well. And, just I took it all to different levels. So I just kind of worked my way up there while building my portfolio and was really fortunate to get some calls while I was working at the agency. And hey, we also need makeup. Can you come do that? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So I was kind of being a makeup artist without realizing it and just doing something I loved. And
Did
that's
you go to
how it
school
came to
for
be.
it?
I did go to school to get certified, but I was already working as a makeup artist. And then when I moved to the States, I got my certification in airbrush makeup. One of my favorite artists, Estero, who's also one of my very good friends from Toronto, said to me, hey, my makeup artist uses this airbrush makeup. And I was like, what's that? I got to learn that. So I went and got certified. And then a few years later, I ended up teaching the course. So this makeup brand that I love, Dinair in Los Angeles, Dinah, who is the founder of that brand, took me under her wing, and I started doing workshops with her, and she ended
Is
up
that
helping
super
me on
complicated
sets
to
later
do?
on.
Is it super complicated to airbrush as opposed to just
It's
not?
pretty easy because you can feel where the makeup's going because it's air blowing on your face. So it's also the most sanitary form of makeup application. It's not being reused during COVID. That saved me because of all
Oh,
the cross contamination elimination from using airbrush makeup artists. And it's one time use. It's social distancing because you're far apart from the person while you're doing
that's
it. You're not
cool.
actually touching them. And I got so good that I could actually do a full face and do, a full makeup without really touching them. So that was a huge benefit
Love
that
that.
I learned really early on that was kind of cutting edge. And I've created a niche for myself in the industry as an airbrush makeup artist. So then there's a lot of things you can do with it. You can do body paint, you can do spray tan. And I did some examples of that when I was on The View as a guest. And I did makeup, beauty makeup, spray tan, and body paint. And the girl came out and she's like, ta-da! And she's wearing no shirt, but I airbrushed her to make it look like she was.
Oh,
And
no
that got her
way. Oh,
attention.
I'm gonna have to dig that out
Yeah,
on YouTube. I've never seen that.
that was super fun. So there's different projects that I've been hired on because of that skill. So it's been pretty cool to learn that and kind of develop my art.
So when you do a spray tan that way, which I never knew existed,
Yeah.
what happens when you sit down on a piece of furniture? Does it come
Well, it
off?
dries right away, so you don't really have to worry about it.
Really?
Yeah, it
Huh.
just stays on. And the makeup lasts for like 20 hours, so you don't have to worry
But you,
about it rubbing off. And men love it because it doesn't look like makeup and it doesn't feel like makeup, so
you
they can
sprayed
walk
me
around.
before.
What's that?
You sprayed me before. You did spray,
Yes.
and I loved it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Loved.
Everybody loves it. My celebrity clients love it because they don't love sitting in the makeup chair for a long time and it's really fast. So I
Yeah.
got to be, especially working at the news station in the beginning of my career, just becoming really fast and efficient and doing a good job. And then when airbrushing came into play, it was like, wow, this is a whole other level of being able to do my job quickly when people don't always love to sit in the chair. So it's good, you know.
So if you're doing somebody, do you charge them
Mhm.
more for the airbrushing?
Nope, it's the same. It's all the same. And, they have the choice. Some people have had bad experiences with airbrush
Like
makeup,
what?
but
Like
I
what?
always say it's because the person doing it didn't really know what they were doing. So I say, just give me a chance and I promise you'll love it. And usually 100% that's the case.
But what would be a bad experience? What could go wrong? Streaking?
I don't know really. They just either had a bad experience with the artist or they put too much on, or maybe they weren't using the Dinair product and it was a heavier silicone based product. The product that I use is all water based, hypoallergenic. Maybe they broke out from it because it had the silicone in it and they're allergic to that or sensitive to it. But the makeup that I use is all non-comedogenic. It's hypoallergenic, it's paraben free, it's vegan. So we love that. And it's great. I love that formula and I've been using it for over 20 years and I'm going to continue to use it because I'm just really passionate about the product and the person who created it.
That's so
So,
cool.
but I also was working in the music industry the whole time I was doing makeup. So that's where the two worlds kind of came together.
So is that how you started doing musicians as well? And by doing
So
musicians, I mean their makeup?
yeah, definitely just their makeup. So when I was probably 13 years old and a really good family friend of mine that had gone to school with my dad, I come from a musical family. So first of all, I've always been around music. And I was raised, with the music industry in my life. And a really good family friend who had gone to school with my dad was the promotions director at Virgin Records. And she, would take me to shows and I would meet the band. And I was really interested in that side of the business. And then I ended up working at BMG Music, at radio stations, in promotions as well, and all sorts of record companies, record stores, whatever I could do in that little town that I lived in that had something to do with the music industry, I did. I found it and I got a job there because I just loved it so much. And I didn't live in a major city like Montreal or Toronto. I lived in Ottawa, which is a very political town. So I was able to be a big fish in a small sea and meet a lot of musicians who became huge and hang out with them. And, I was booking bands on the Tom Green show. My job was to scout musical talent for his program and book them on the show. So I was always at shows. I was making the connections, networking, and kind of building a business for myself. And I got to know a lot of people in the industry. So that's kind of how it came to be with the music side of it.
So who was the first band you booked?
Oh my gosh. Well, they're Canadian bands that are probably no longer together. So, but there were bands that were a little more popular in Canada at the time. We didn't have a budget really, so we had to do what we could and work with, what we worked with and do the press. And then right before he got picked up on MTV, we had a show in Canada on the Comedy Network, and we, got a little bit of the bigger bands that were more well-known in Canada as well. And then Tom went to MTV and became a phenomenon. And I ended up moving to the States around that same time as well. And I had so through me going to shows and networking and getting to know the bands and them saying, yeah, come to the next time you see we're here, come on to the sound check. And, I showed up at the sound check, and my friend was playing guitar in this band. And the band that was opening for them was called Age of Electric, and it was two sets of brothers from Vancouver. And the singer of that band is Todd Kearns, who is now the bass player in Slash's band. And he was the singer in the band Age of Electric, and Chip Ruggieri was managing them. So he was on the road at that time with them. And we became really good friends. And, eventually I came to the US, and we ended up getting married, and the rest is history. But I said to him, hey, why don't we start a tour press division for all the bands you're working with? Because he had his publicity company, Chipster PR. And let's start a tour press division. And since I have all this experience in music business, I'll do all the press for the bands while they're on tour in every market that they perform in. I said, sure, that's a great idea. And the rest is history. So
that's so cool.
That's how we started.
Okay, so if you could only do one thing or the other, which would you rather do? Makeup or press?
I don't know. I'm so lucky that I love both industries so much, and music is my life, both for both of us. And when COVID happened and the bands weren't on tour, and the possibility of never seeing a concert again was just so devastating, and the shock that we felt in the industry and the sadness and not being able to be in a crowd and see your favorite band was just really scary. So to the thought of losing that was horrific. So now that we have that again and we're back in the crowd, and the first time I saw a really big concert, I looked around and I was kind of overwhelmed by it. I was almost like, wow, this is insane. Like that we're all together, 20,000 people again. And it was really emotional.
Yeah, I get it.
And the makeup for me physically is difficult on longer days. So, I could be on a set for 15 hours and standing on my feet for 13 of those hours. And it's just, it's a lot. So, but I love it. And I love the artistry. For me, it's therapeutic. When I'm doing makeup, it's very relaxing. When I'm doing someone's hair, they love it. I love it. I love the idea of making someone feel good about themselves. And I've literally changed lives by someone they had that disease that Michael Jackson had where it fades your skin. And I airbrushed them. They were all one color. And they said, this changed my life. And it just, they're so happy. And it just, for them to have some sort of normalcy, and
that's awesome.
It's really special. So there's that side of it as well. And working with cancer patients and people who've lost their eyebrows and their eyelashes, and being able, makeup is magic. So
yeah, I never think of things like that.
Smoke and mirrors. So there's that side as well. It's
yeah.
It's about helping people too. So I can't really say.
I love that. So do you do many musicians makeup?
Of course. I have a whole roster.
And are they easier than
actors?
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I know that's generalizing, but
yeah, some of them are both, right? So like Keanu Reeves, I didn't do his makeup, but I met him. He was touring with his band Dog Star. I was working at BMG Records at the time, who they were signed to. And, he was playing with his band. He's a big, huge, famous actor. He's lovely. He's a wonderful, lovely person. I was Olivia Newton-John's makeup artist for years, and she's just the brightest light, just so wonderful, such a wonderful person who did so much good. And I feel like they're both, it depends who you're talking to, so it's really, it just depends on who the person is. The most difficult ones, I got to tell you, are the ones who think they're famous that aren't.
Always the way. Always the way.
Yeah.
And presumably they're guys. Yes.
No, not at all, actually.
So overall, guys are easier.
Men aren't real fans of makeup a lot of the times,
Yeah,
but
no,
they'll
no.
take it just because they know it's going to make them look better
Mm.
and they trust me. So, I was doing makeup for the police for a TV show they were on, and it was they were just getting ready to play their last shows at Madison Square Garden. And we did this TV show, and I'm in the dressing room, and it was at the Apollo Theater in New York, and I was doing makeup for them, and they had never been airbrushed, and they loved it. And they said, if we knew you did this, we would have brought you on tour with us. And I'm like, oh, it's just too little too
Yeah.
late.
Um,
So
so you don't have to name a name, but what was the most difficult experience you've had doing makeup that made you think, do I really want to do this?
I've never thought, do I really want to do this? I'm so fortunate that I have the option of being able to not work with people that I don't want to work with again. Look, it's my dog's birthday, and he really wants.
Oh, is it
It's
really
his
his birthday?
birthday today, and he's putting his paws up on me because he just,
Oh, we want some birthday loving.
yeah, it's his birthday.
Oh, we want
Um,
Gigi to go and kiss.
so his first TV appearance. There you go.
Oh,
So yeah, I'm so fortunate because if I don't like him, I don't have to work with him again. So that's the beauty of that.
but what is the worst experience you've had?
It's just somebody who was very difficult, and or people who say, make me look like J-Lo, and they look nothing like J-Lo, and they're just never going to be happy because they're so unhappy with themselves and the way they look that
Isn't
there's
that
nothing I can
bizarre?
do to fix that. That's on the inside.
That's so
So
bizarre that people do that. Make
what's
me
that?
look like without going to get their nose done first, or their brow
Right,
lift,
right.
or their hair
Yes.
dyed. Make me look like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Crazy.
Right. So, as makeup artists, we can create a lot of illusions and smoke and mirrors with that, with makeup, with our products and
But
certain tips and tricks. But there's people who don't accept that. So, yeah, what are you going to do?
and
I
then
just do the best I can.
with press, who do you think is easier to say, okay, here's what your day looks like? A new
Well,
artist, a
the
new
musician
artist, or a well-seasoned artist?
for
Press.
tell me that question again for press.
Yeah. Which
So
kind
the
of art
new
is
ones, the
easier?
new ones love doing press, and they love talking about their project and about themselves, and it's all new and exciting to them. The older ones who've been
However,
around the block, how they
now,
they do it because they have to, but they don't always like to do it. But we appreciate their talents and their efforts, and we're so grateful for their time in doing what they need to do in order for the project to be successful.
but there's definitely a difference between a hungry artist and one that's past that. Oh,
Yeah,
it's so fun.
this is the life, I'm telling you. I'm
No
so
kidding.
jealous of this dog.
I don't want a belly rub, but now I want a shoulder rub. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Um, so, which of the kids are better with a dog?
Probably my daughter. She's a little mama. This is her
Nurturing?
baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
But he's very good as well. They're both loving, and they love their little brother.
I love it. So, when you go to LA for the Oscars, what's your day like?
I really don't know who I'm doing makeup for until they sit in my chair. I have kind of a basic idea.
Oh, I didn't know
But
that.
yeah, sometimes people pop in. I'm like, all right, sure.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Sometimes I'm working with several clients. So, it's in the past, I've done the red carpet countdown to the Oscars, and we're at the Roosevelt Hotel, and there's all these people getting ready to go on. And it's like, okay, whoever sits in the chair. So,
I didn't know that. I always thought it was that woman that you
yeah, sometimes some clients are the same. It usually starts pretty early in the morning.
like.
So,
What time?
and they've changed the rules a lot since COVID, and just with security in general because of potential threats and whatnot. No one's allowed to be on the carpet on the day of anymore. And we used to be on the carpet that day. Just the host would be reporting live, and we're right there with them. But now it's like,
Touch-ups.
okay, you cannot get near them. You can't. They shut everything down. They do the security sweep. It's all clear.
So the second the carpet starts, you finish.
Way before that, actually, because they have to get there, to the venue. Usually I'm doing it from a hotel room. So it's doing the makeup and hair from a hotel room or a person's house. It really depends.
So what time do you start?
I've started as early as 4 a.m.
Lovely.
So it just depends. Yeah. And I'm
That's
not a
great.
morning person. So I just shake it off and get it out of my system and show up.
And then are you going home afterwards?
I usually take a red eye home, but sometimes I'll stay. Depends.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What is, we have, is there anything in particular that you'd like to talk about since I'm kind of wrapping it on?
Not really. Just
Do you want to talk about the article your publication?
Oh, I just had an article feature in Music Insider magazine, and that was focused on my music career. And then the next issue, issue number 5, will be coming out in a few weeks, and that's going to be focused on my makeup career. So we'll have both sides of it. So it's an interesting angle. There's not a lot of people who have 2 careers, and they just
I
kind of
love
focus on
that.
one. But I've been so lucky to be able to blend them. And if one of our clients is in New York doing press and they're doing a video shoot or they need publicity photos or something like that, where I can be on set for that as well. So I've been so fortunate to work with iconic artists, and they've all been so wonderful, and it's so much fun for me to be on the set of a music video or an album cover shoot. There's so many different aspects of what I can do, whether it's just press or like the music videos and the
Yeah, that's really cool. I never thought about that, that it's not
Mhm.
just,
Yeah.
press. There's
Hmm.
other things. That's really cool.
It's a lot of fun. And then, there's so many different angles to doing music makeup as well. So I might be on a corporate shoot with a pharmaceutical company or a TV network or something. And then the next day, I'm on a celebrity press junket. And then the day after that, I'm on a photo shoot for a magazine or a catalog. And then the day after that, I'm on a video shoot for another commercial for something. So it's super fun, and I'm constantly meeting people. I get to travel all over the world, and I never really say I'm working because I just love it, and it's really important. And I try to instill that in my kids, is to just love what you do, and it'll never feel like work.
But you know what? You're so lucky that every day is different.
Yes.
Sometimes it is an album
Yes.
cover, sometimes it is, a magazine, or sometimes
Mhm.
you're dealing with press, that no 2 days are the same. And
Right.
that's
Yeah, that's true. And things come up all the time that are totally unexpected, especially in the PR world. So Chip and I are a really great team together. And if I get called for makeup, he's wonderful about taking care of the kids and doing what we have to do with them. And then our team of folks that help us out are there covering for me, and just backing us up. And it's a big group effort, really. So we're just really fortunate to be in this industry, and especially now, and we survived COVID, and we've got the tours all full force again, thank God.
no
So a
kidding.
lot of exciting things, and we've also outsourced now to have other businesses, where we have a vinyl record business where we're producing vinyl records. We have a merchandising company, and we're doing merch for a lot of bands. And, you got to keep growing it and exploring different things.
Could you
So
be any busier?
that's what keeps it fun too.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
really cool. I forgot about the merch.
Yeah. So
Wow,
it's a lot of fun.
that's so cool.
And then movies, doing PR for movies, doing PR for books. There's different avenues to that industry as well. So, and people, that's why I was in that magazine. They're like, "Oh, what you do is really interesting. We should do a story on you and what
You're
you
like,
do."
which
So,
thing did I do? Which one of the 46 things that I do?
right.
Yeah, there'll
I
be.
actually had I did a sizzle reel for a reality show, and it was like really fun, and it never got turned into a TV show because my whole life changed once I had kids. but that was a lot of fun. And that was something that a few production companies had approached me to do as well. Your life's really interesting. We should totally make a show about that. So maybe one day.
I remember you telling me, yes, you should go back and revisit that because that's so cool. So we have a new thing, a gabbing quiz.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw some questions at you, assuming I keep my voice. Which TV show or movie character do you hate and why? Is that a hard one?
Oh my gosh. Do I hate? Oh.
Okay,
Well,
go
I
on.
don't hate anyone. I don't know. I don't really hate anyone because I know they're portraying a character.
Okay, so let's do love. Which TV show or movie character do you love and why?
Oh my gosh. The show Shameless
I
and
do.
and also Working Moms. How great is that show?
I've not
Just
seen that.
it's hilarious.
But
It's just so, as a mom.
you got me watching Ginny and Georgia. So if somebody was going to ask me my favorite person,
Okay.
it has to be Georgia.
Oh,
I love, 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 loved that show, and I love, love, loved her character so much.
I just feel like the cast of those two shows I just mentioned are so brilliant together, and they're just so great. They nailed it with the casting.
I've never seen either. Now I'm going to have to watch
They
those.
just nailed it with the casting. I love it. And the funny thing is, for Working Moms, I'm looking at the credits and I see this little redhead on the show, Danny Kind. And I'm like, Danny Kind? I know Danny Kind. I went to school with a Danny Kind. And
No,
I look her up. Sure enough, I went to elementary school with her. She was a grade
oh,
younger than me, and her sister, I think, was a grade older than I was. And I was really good friends with her sister and Danny through her sister. And we went to school together, and now she's a really successful actress. So it's so
oh my
cool
God, I love
to
it.
see that. And I actually, I grew up with some famous people, and coming from where I came from, Alanis Morissette, she was from my hometown, and I used to worship her when I was 13 years old, and she was just breaking out in Canada. And Tom Green, who I also met when I was 13 and ended up working on his show, and watching him become really successful was just so cool. And, that night that I met Chip in that club that I was at, scouting the band that Chip was managing, Age of Electric, the band that my friend was in was for an artist named Sass Jordan, who's from Canada. And the drummer in that band was Taylor Hawkins. And I met Taylor that day as well. And Taylor went on to be in Alanis Morissette's band with my friend Nick Lashley. And then they also ended up, Taylor went on to be in the Foo Fighters, as we all know. But, seeing your friends grow and become really successful is just amazing.
Best, best.
It just shows you, anything's possible if you work hard enough. So it's just a really cool thing to see.
Okay, next question of the quiz. What's your favorite drink? And it doesn't have to be alcohol.
Water.
Is it?
Water or unsweetened iced tea? I got to tell you, yeah. And when I go to Canada, they don't have unsweetened iced tea. So I have to actually bring it with me. We
so
just
fun.
get cases of it and bring it. So yeah, water.
Okay.
I'll drink that all day long. Mm-hmm.
Well, another question in the quiz is, if you were an animal, what animal would you be and why? But I already know the answer. Your dog, because of the cushy life that dog has. But if that's not the answer, you can tell me a different one.
My favorite animal
No.
is a white tiger.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Is that what you'd be? If you could be an animal?
I would like to be this dog. You're right.
Oh, I'm sure. I am sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And what can calm your nerves?
This dog.
I get
Doing
it.
this.
No, I get it. That's definitely
so therapeutic. This is literally the best therapy ever.
Yes.
It's just him cuddling, and he jumps into my neck, and
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love
pure
it.
love.
Eat them
Pure
up.
love. Oh, I know. Pure
Okay,
love.
last question is, do you have any jokes?
Ooh. My kids would have some really good jokes. They
Somebody
do
could
really
tell me a
good
joke
shows.
and 7
Hilarious.
seconds later I'd forget. I'm the
What's
worst.
that?
Somebody could tell me a joke and 7 seconds later I will have forgotten it.
Oh, I can't think of any right now. I'll have to come back to you on that one.
Well, we have to do this again because the time just goes
Okay.
and we're out of
Well,
it.
thanks for having me on.
This was so fun, and I'm glad I got to
Well, good
spend some
to
time with
see
your
you.
dog. I feel like I did a
Oh,
little bonding here.
yeah.
I feel-
He's enjoying his birthday.
Well, thank you so much, Jen. I'm so glad we did this, but I really mean it. We have to come back and finish because I have a million more questions for you.
Okay.
And
Part two coming up next.
yeah, yeah, and you look great. And of course you
Oh,
would.
thank
Well,
you.
here's
So
a
do
question
you.
for you. I have one more question, and then we're really hanging up, okay?
Okay.
So when you do eyebrows,
Hmm.
because that's I think, the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, people are so specific with their eyebrows. And for me, if I haven't seen them before and it's a person, who isn't famous that I can't just Google, although everyone's online if you look up their name now, I kind of ask them, I look at their eyebrow shape. I really work on how to make them comfortable. It really changes a person's face to make them darker, even if it's a little bit darker than they're used to. I always start off lighter and build up to be darker. I used to do an event for Ken Pavis in Beverly Hills, and Anastasia, who's the brow guru, would
Right.
do that event with us. And I would get my brows done at her salon, and they actually show you how to do your
Like,
brows.
like with
And
measuring, like
so
starting
cool.
here and
Yeah.
doing
They measure and
pencil.
they use a mirror, and they really show you how to use their products. And
And they have the
um,
stencils, but you don't want
they taught me
to.
a lot. They taught me a lot about brows and about brow shaping and just little tricks. But really it's about the person's face and what's going to be the most flattering to them. So my suggestion is always start off light and build from there, because, it's easier to build up than to take away.
Okay. On that, we'll say goodbye. And I actually know what my first question on our next one's going to be, and I'm going to write it down so I don't forget. But thank you, Jen.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you, thank you.
All
And
right. Have a great day.
okay, and if you want to check Jen out, what's the best way to do it, Jen?
On Instagram and Twitter, Jen Farhood, and that's JenFarhood, and Chipster PR. So at Chipster PR, ChipsterPR. And that's
Perfect.
on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks so much for tuning in today. And be sure to follow Gabbing with Girlfriends on here so you never miss an episode. You can also find us on social media for more fun and in-depth conversations. Thank you.